as Secretary General of the party, you have no role in determining what election coalition agreements would look like. And most of the time, now let me backpedal so that I just explain this in maybe 2 minutes. I am a young man, and Kenya being a tribal mosaic, I happen to be of the Luo origin. And if you think about the systemic problems that we have faced, part of it has been in terms of political messaging. And if we look at the animal that is tribalism in Kenya, which is something which we will have to unpack until we can overcome this, let us forget about any other systemic changes. You cannot stand up and say that you're Mimi Edwin Sifuna, I am the Senator of Nairobi, I'm the Secretary General of the Orange Democratic Movement. That's where I'll stop. I don't care about the others. As Secretary General of the Orange Democratic Movement, you cannot go to a funeral because you know in politics, funerals are not just funerals. They are places where you make political statements. And politicians do not speak by mistake. No word I say here is by chance. People are very deliberate about what they say. Then you go ahead as Secretary General of ODM and say, Mimi ni mwanaume kamili and I was circumcised with a knife. So hakuna mtu anaweza nitoa in my position. In a party whose broad masses stem from a region where, and unfortunately, as difficult as this subject might be to bring on air, circumcision has been used as a metric as a political tool, not as a cultural tool. What dog whistles are you blowing if you go to a region by a person who has consistently, when we go to electoral campaigns, they use all these tribal tropes? That is one thing I have against him. But also, two, as a person, because ODM at 20, as a young person, I was the one who was leading the ideation for the youth side event. I was the one in charge. It was myself, Rosalyn Alionia, and a lady called Letitia. We did all the documentation and the implementation, and of course, now we went to the side committees. He comes into our meeting, a meeting which he has not helped to brainstorm about, he has not helped to ideate, takes the meeting and tells us that, Nimesikia, you're asking about a certain politician. So he's trying to create a constituency for himself. And I don't think it's going to work. So I'm saying that
is there anything wrong with that?
It's not. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there is a problem if you will come to us and try to deceive us or hoodwink us, in the sense that you say on one hand that you don't recognize what this broad-based animal is, for example. But on the one hand, when people say that they want to remain with the president, you're very vehement against them. But when they say they don't want to remain, you're sympathetic to them. But the other thing I have against what Mr. Sifuna is doing is that when it is convenient for him and his cabal, they want an NDC to be called. He's not holding that position legally. He's an affirmative action candidate. He was not voted for by anyone. Them and their cabal only want the NDC to be called when it is Dr. Oburu who is a party leader. And that's why I'm like...
Walk us through how he's an affirmative action hire.
So Edwin Sifuna was not elected by the National Delegates Convention. None of these party officials were elected like that. So
what happened? Just give us context for those who are not familiar
so
with
typically,
politics.
There's a very famous story about the Orange Democratic Movement when there was a Secretary General extraordinaire by the name Ababu Namwamba, who in the 11th hour during the National Delegates Convention, it was heard in good faith that he was going to, on good authority, that he was going to sell the party, in the sense that he wanted to yield what the party's influence would be to President Ruto at the time. And it was an attempt that was foiled by Mheshimiwa George Aladwa, Kina Ruben Dolo, and then they brought in the men in black and they scuttled that National Delegates Convention. And for a long time, for about 18 months, Edwin Sifuna was just he was picked to act. And he acted for a very long time, was not even confirmed. He had to confirm himself in the media. And Baba was very mad at him. And then now he was confirmed much, much later. The only bona fide secretary. By Baba and the party. So there are certain organs.
What party structures exist to allow this confirmation?
Right, and I really love that these questions typically are usually asked to ODM people, because it has the semblance of a firm structure. There are internal contradictions that have occurred, but it has maintained a fairly balanced party structure. So there's the party leadership, there's the national chairpersons. A lot of these seats, in the way they were organized before, that I cannot speak to.
Okay,
but so right now I can.
The bottom line is no NDC has chosen the current officials of ODM.
Particularly, no.
right?
Yes.
So not just Edwin Sifuna.
Yes.
Even the former deputy party leaders, the current deputy party leaders.
Right.
None of them
Yes.
were picked procedurally according to the party
They were
constitution.
picked. No, they actually were, but through special sittings.
Not through the structure. Of
They
the,
actually through the structure. It's not that there were special sittings. The NDC
okay.
is a general one.
all right.
Yes.
So even Sifuna was picked properly.
He was picked.
So what you said here
Yes.
that he was not picked properly is actually
then
not true.
No. It's actually this. Sifuna's is very different from party leader Dr. Oburu's, because Sifuna was not
Not
ratified, for
Dr.
example.
Oburu,
Yes.
all the party
We're not
leadership.
Dr. Oburu.
Yes.
We're talking about. So when Wycliffe Oparanya was the deputy party leader, who picked him?
But I can't speak to that because I do not
Okay.
know. Yes.
When Hassan Joho became the deputy party leader, who picked
Yeah,
him?
I've not researched that.
Okay.
Yes.
So the bottom line.
I have tunnel vision here because I am admitting that here I have tunnel vision for this particular issue. Yes.
We are seeing all these things happening within the ODM, right? Since Baba's death,
Yes.
there has been some sort of internal fighting for prominence within the party.
Yes.
I look at it as prominence because we are in broad-based to stay. No, we are not in broad-based. We're going to prepare ourselves for the next election. There's all those people who are just trying to show that they are the ones who have a greater say in the party. From where you sit, what do you see happening within ODM? Is this a journey towards its death, or is it a journey towards its renewal?
Not at all. It's a journey towards its renewal and reinvention. Because with Dr. Oburu's leadership, I think he has managed to steady so many storms, and that's the thing which we have to communicate very clearly. Dr. Oburu is a master politician, is a party leader, bar none, in the sense that you will remember that there is a time that was very it seemed as though Babu was going to leave the party. It seemed like it was palpable and it was ripe and he was going to leave and go with everybody. And Dr. Oburu, in his masterful nature, he goes to an interview and he says, I have sent some of my people to go and look for Babu, but I have not yet gotten the response. But I will talk to him when he comes. You want to tell me Dr. Oburu couldn't find Babu if he wanted? Then Babu goes to the office the next morning and Dr. Oburu puts out an interview and says, let nobody be afraid. If you win a nomination, you will get your certificate. The whole time, Mheshimiwa Babu had been saying that, I know I'll be denied, I'm not the chosen candidate. And now, if you leave, you have to tell us, where is this, where have you gotten this notion that you will not get the certificate?
From history, Kasmuel, the party has always said, if you win a nomination, you'll get a ticket.
Yes.
But also, the candidates have always said, you don't always win the ticket from the nomination.
Yes, but
everybody knows that.
My question is, what finer legislators in this country? What party has those? What are you comparing us to? Show me. We have the finest legislators. Through our internal contradictions, we have managed to give you the finest minds in such a way that if you're looking for a politician who speaks for you, they're probably in the Orange Democratic Movement or aligned to an ODM politician. So our internal contradictions, those ones we can discuss in maybe the NDC. We keep on improving. Again, this is a question for quality control. We keep on improving. That's why you find some of us, even the young ones, we are agitating and saying, we want this to happen, we want this to go. You tell me, is there any other party where you can find the young people want to kick out the Secretary General?
You're saying internal contradictions as part of democracy of a party, but now a lot of people are just saying these are just two clear factions, not even internal contradictions. It's just outright disagreement on where it lies, which goes back to Eric's question. And I think during the break we were talking about what does it gain ODM to be part of broad-based. So maybe let's still stay on that. Internal contradictions is one thing. Outright public dissent and contradictions, the point where the likes of Billy Odhiambo and a few other MPs have said, hey, we need to quell these spats. It's outright beyond contradictions. Now it's just a public almost like falling apart.
Right, but the contradictions, are they happening within or without the party? Nobody has left the party. Everybody is saying everything that they want to say. Everyone has had an opportune moment, but nobody is leaving the party. These other people, when they get their contradictions, they go and they leave their parties. Within the ODM, it is such a rich structure that it is the most, in physics, I don't know if I forget what, it's not, we're not a brittle party. Our elastic limit is so high that all these contradictions can exist within the same party. We have so many factions, but they still show up. Yes.
Is it?
Do you think that ODM can stand with the ouster of the Secretary General? with the roster of, the youthful faces that we do have there, Babu Owino, and also Godfrey Osotsi right now. If they take this particular move and they show them the door, what will be the blowback of ODM?
I think there's something that the ODM leadership around Dr. Oburu Oginga has come to terms with. Mm-hmm. There are a number of things they have come to terms with. The first thing they've come to terms with is that Oburu Oginga cannot be Raila Odinga. Mm. And not being Raila Odinga, he's not going to be able to rally the ODM constituency as we have known it together. He lacks the charisma, mm-hmm. He lacks the moral authority, he lacks the leadership acumen that his younger brother Raila Odinga had. If he had it, in fact, given the way we behave within the Lake Basin in order of things that do with birthrights, he would have been the leader. But he lived throughout in the shadow of his younger brother, Raila Odinga, and so he lacks what it takes. It's also true, I believe, that ODM has come to terms with the fact that within that fraternity, there isn't a single individual who is able to marshal the kind of support across